And he's like, oh, think of me as your guardian angel. And he starts farting. Ooh, oh, that was a wet one. Every time a demon farts, every time a person farts, a demon gets his wings. Oh, that was twins. And that's all he does in the movie. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
And the world has a new hero. Spawn.
But what we can do, chat, as I said before, welcome to stream. Hope you're all doing very well. What we can do, chat, is I could tell you what's on the dock for today, and then we're going to get to that docket shit, all right? I'm going to be doing a scene by scene breakdown to the 1997 cinematic adaptation of Todd McFarlane's favorite son, chat, Spawn. Spawn, starring Michael Jai White, John Leguizamo, Martin Sheen, a bunch of other people you don't know. Them. We'll talk about that movie. After that, shall be jumping into Dead Space 2, some single-player shenanigans, and ending the stream with some Jackbox Party Pack multiplayer stuff, which should be good. Chat. But before we go ahead and jump into this review, I need to ask you a very important question, chat. That question being, how many of you have seen 1997 Spawn or read the comic? Because I'm curious, shit. I remember when Spawn was starting to get out there, people were talking about Spawn. He was loved. He is the character. He is the person that built Image, chat. All right? That's what Spawn is. I mean, without Spawn, Image would not be what it is today. Image is the house that Spawn did indeed build. Should you ask? I have not. Chris Ayers, sadly, yes. Oh, Lord. What else we got here, chat? Castface says, nope. Hemmelberger, I've seen parts of it on TV. So they play a lot of it on FX. Or maybe, yes, I have. Serious, I seen it as a kid, and I remember liking it, but now I can see why it's not a good movie. Actually, I have not seen it. It looked terrible. Glee, seen it a lot better back when I was younger, though. Look it up, like it says, never. All I know is, all I know is Spawn is too edgy, even by edgelord. He's pretty fucking edgy. Yeah. I've seen so many reviews of Spawn that I don't know if I've actually seen it, but good enough. Yeah, actually, you probably have. Yeah, there's been a lot of, so Biggie Smith, I don't know why people have been mentioning this. For whatever reason, on my little page here, it says total subscribers 0. I don't know why it says that. I've tried to fix it, but I have not been able to fix it, so I might just have to remove it and replace it with something else. But yeah, I don't know why it says total subs. It's a pain in the goddamn ass. I've also seen Nostalgia Critic and Double Toasted. That's right. Double Toasted did it recently. Yes. Vanisphere says, as a kid, yeah. One of the first movies that I really, Leaving the Fear, how bad it was. There you go. Early on, what happened? Brilliant filmmaking with Julie from the OC, right? Yes. So, chat, I, too, have seen this movie. Not in theaters. I was too young. I was too young to see such a violent film, even though it's PG-13. It's not rated R as far as I know, chat. And yeah, it came out during the time. Give you a brief background on the history of this film, chat. Came out during the dark times of the comic book movie, chat. The late 90s, or the 90s in general, one could say, where not only in 1997 did you have the movie Spawn, but you also had Batman and Robin, chat. So the quality was not the best. Although a year later, in 1998, we did get the granddaddy of the modern day superhero film, chat, with Blade, a much better film. A movie that saved Marvel's ass back in the day, chat. But before we had that, we did indeed have Spawn, which, as I said, is a cinematic adaptation of Todd McFarlane's favorite son, Spawn. And really, I mean, what Spawn is, I mean, what Image is. I mean, Todd McFarlane famously left Marvel. He's like, I want to create my own company with my friends, and I don't want to be told what to do, all right? But I want to take Venom with me. And fucking Marvel said, no, we're going to milk this fucking cow dry for the next 30-plus years. You can't have him. He's like, fine, I'll just do Venom again. And he made Venom again, except he put a red cape on him, and he gave him green eyes. Like, he has the whites around the green eyes, but it's fucking Venom, chat. We know what it is. I mean, come on. Yeah, it's obvious. It's almost a running joke how similar the characters look, chat. They all black and weird and leathery and gross and just moist. Just always consistently moist, chat. Spawn is fucking Venom. Yes, he is. Oh, come on. Come on. Look at him. Look at him. His suit is Venom. All right, yes, he's not the same as Eddie Brock. True. Al Simmons and Eddie Brock are not the same character. Eddie Brock is just some wannabe journalist, who was upset that Spider-Man show proved that he was a wannabe shitty journalist, and, Venom wanted to kill Spider-Man after that. And Spawn is, he was a mercenary, Al Simmons, and he killed people, and then he died, and the devil's like, hey, you want to lead my army? And he goes, sure. And then he came back, but he didn't want to lead the army anymore, and he's been fighting the forces of hell and evil for nearly 30 fucking years at this point, so they are different that way, but they fucking look the same, chat. But the thing is, though, back in the day, everyone was loving Spawn, chat. Again, he was the character that built Image. You were getting all these guest writers on. Like, Alan Moore wrote an issue of fucking Spawn, chat. They're like, wow, look at all the talent they're attracting. This is great. But then, years later, years since, chat, yes, you had some successes like the HBO series, of course, chat, which is the super adult-themed cartoon, which a lot of people loved. You had Keith David, who voiced the character, and he's continued to voice him in various incarnations, chat. Famously, he came back to voice the character for Mortal Kombat 11, where they had Spawn as a guest character, so it's like, that's pretty cool. But then they had the movie. Then they had the big movie, chat, and it was like, here we go. It's like, we're so excited for this, and it was awful. It was, I think it's, I would not, I don't think I'm, stretching by saying that it's one of the worst comic movies of all time, one of the worst comic book adaptations of all time. Everything from, terrible writing, terrible direction, some of the absolute worst CGI you've ever seen in a cinematic adaptation of a comic book film. It's like, this says some of the worst CGI. Like, I feel like if you needed, like, what's bad CGI look like? Point at this movie. This is late 90s CGI, and some of it, it never ages well, but it's like, holy fucking shit, this didn't even look good when it originally came out, chat. And I was like, wow, that's kind of impressive that you fucked up immediately. The acting isn't all that great. You have a number of actors. Like, you have Martin Sheen, who was a big comic book fan back in the day. He famously wanted to be in a comic book movie. And they cast him as, he's just evil Martin Sheen with a bad dye job, chat. They have him, like, for whatever reason, they have his hair dyed black, and it's like, it's obviously dyed, and he talks like this for the whole movie. Spawn! We're going to kill you! We're going to bring the forces of hell upon Earth! It's like, why are you talking that way? And he has some other fucking ridiculous things in this film. Now, the one thing I will be positive about, and, Michael Jai White, wasted in the movie. He's a talented actor, completely wasted. Got him all on that fucking makeup. Looking like bacon, chat. Just looking like, not even bacon. He looks like that fake, like, doggy biscuit bacon that they give him. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like doggy biscuit bacon. It's like, there's something weird that you're very slick looking. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. He's like a walking turd. He's like a piece of poop. He's like after you ate bacon and you shat it out and you just covered bacon strips. That's it. He looks like a bunch of bacon strips became a human being. That's how I would describe Michael Jai White's makeup. Now, however, as many bad characters in this movie and as awful dialogue and bad VFX, I will say John Leguizamo's makeup as the clown, the Violator, is quite good. I actually really like his makeup, and I can respect and admire the physical turmoil he put himself through to play that character. Because there's certain scenes where you see him like all the time. He's very short. And they didn't do like it's another guy playing him or anything like that. And they obviously did different camera angles and things, but he spent so much of that movie just squatting down and like walking in such a weird way that he put so much stress on his knees and his legs. And you'll, like, if you watch behind the scene I'm eating dinner, Chris. I'm sorry, Summer Baby. I'm sorry. But if you watch behind the scenes footage, when they finish like shooting a scene, he immediately stands up and he starts like walking around like in horrible pain. So I can respect the man for the physical turmoil he put himself through playing that character. And the makeup for the character is good. Now, do they do anything cool with the Violator? No. He's fat and he's gross and he farts. He farts all the time. There's like 5 fart scenes in this movie. It's like, I don't need to see him farting multiple times and him calling attention to his farts or his CGI fart stink coming out of his butt cheeks. I don't need to see it, but the movie's like, you're going to see them CGI farts, okay? All right, you're going to appreciate them. And I'm like, no, I will not, movie. And apparently not a lot of other people did either. Famously, this movie was supposed to only be about $25 million, but because the filmmaker, Mark A.Z. DePay, who, by the way, you thinking, what happened to good old Mark A.Z. DePay, or I call him Dip, chat. He went on to film a movie in the Halloween Town trilogy, chat. He famously directed Halloween Town High. That's the same director as Spawn. So next time you watch Halloween Town High, chat, next Halloween, or with your kids someday, know that is the same director as Spawn. So you have that little nugget of knowledge, chat. But they upped the VFX costs, and so they added another $20 million because they add all that cool looking CGI, brought to $45 million, only gross about $87.9 million worldwide. So a bit of a box office bomb. I mean, it made its money back to a degree, but barely broke even. And they did plan a Spawn 2 live-action sequel, but they soon canceled that, chat. And they're like, this is just not working. And there's been some Spawn film in some sort of like development hell for years. Like Todd McFarlane, like back in 2013, is like, oh, we're gonna do a Spawn movie. It's gonna happen. People care about the character still. And he like famously said he was gonna get Jamie Foxx, I think, to like take on the role of Spawn. I don't know where that's at now. I imagine it has not gotten far into any form of serious production, chat. I think maybe script, maybe in terms of, like various drafts of whatever script they have. And they talked about it more as a horror film, which I guess that would make more sense, which I think that this original one was going to be. They wanted to add the VFX to be a competitor to like the Batman series at the time. So that was the big superhero film series, right, chat? So, because he didn't really have any Marvel movies until like really properly Blade. I mean, he had the shitty, crappy ones like Captain America and stuff, and those direct-to-VOD films like The Punisher and things. But that was his big competitor, and he wanted to compete in that way. But just didn't happen, chat. Just didn't happen. Oh, that's right. Blumhouse is going to produce this. I don't know if that's happening now with it. I have no fucking clue, but we'll see. Chat, am I excited for a Spawn movie? Not really. I don't really like the character. I just don't feel like there's much to him. It's like, I get it. He kills people and he's angry. He's always angry. I mean, I'd be angry too if someone burned off my dick. If I was Kendall Smoothie, like, what the fuck? I would constantly be angry wanting to, like, slice people with my nipple chains. So I get that, but I just never understood the appeal of the character other than, like, he looks cool. Much in the same way with Venom. It's like, he doesn't have a personality, but he looks cool. He doesn't have any depth, but he's got a scary face. I was like, yes, I'll agree to that. Aesthetically, looks cool. In terms of him as a character, his storylines, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't personally get it. But chat, it's not my responsibility to get it. It's my responsibility to do a scene-by-scene breakdown to this movie, chat. And we're going to start off in the beginning, chat, where darkness and light are in constant battle with each other, and we have weird stock footage of John Woo doves and New York City and CGI hell and the CGI Satan called Mabog. I don't know what his name is, chat, but it immediately starts off confusing. And we have an old British white man who I don't know what his name is. I'm gonna call him Obi-Wan Kenobi, chat, because he's Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi. I mean, that's what he is. He's like, I have come to help you and train to use your, chain nipples. And it's like, great. But this old man, this Obi-Wan Kenobi-esque figure, is talking about the battle between darkness and light, and how there's this Satan-esque figure called Mabog, or I'm gonna call him Satan. I don't know what his name is, chat. He's fucking Satan, and he looks like shit. He looks like a turd with Ronald McDonald hair, and I don't like it. But it's okay because we quickly cut. We quickly cut from that because I didn't want to look at it anymore. And we are now at an airport, chat. And we're just watching these fucking guys just in this tower, you know, like those air traffic control towers, just doing their job. You know, it's a late night. They're sipping on coffee, chat. You know, they're monitoring systems, make sure the fucking planes don't fall out the goddamn sky or smash into each other. And then, boom, someone kicks the door down, chat, like Kool-Aid Man style, and just starts slaughtering all of them. It's like, why are we killing these guys? It's like they're just doing their jobs. And just machine gun fire, every single one of them dead, chat. Guy was just making himself a cup of coffee, and now the cup is filled with his own blood and viscera and guts, chat. Horrible. And we're introduced to the character of Al Simmons, chat, the hero of the movie. Fantastic. And he's there for a very important reason, because he has to kill some brown people. As you know, Che, he's like, if you're brown, in this movie, Che, if you're brown, you're going down. And he's decided that this air traffic control station was the absolute best place. And he sees all the way down the fucking strip, a plane is landing where his chosen brown man's about to disembark. And he's like, he ain't gonna even get in the fucking car because I'm gonna blow his ass up, which he proceeds to do so with a really bad CGI drone rocket thing. And he gets it out, and he fires the rocket, and it's a really bad CGI. And the brown man's like, oh no, like, I don't know what accent I have. Do I sound Hispanic? Am I Middle Eastern? I don't know. And he dies, and he explodes with the rest of his friends that were also there. And mission fucking accomplished. Yeah, we then cut to Obi-Wan Kenobi, who has been watching this entire thing, and he looks like Ezio Auditore in Assassin's Creed, you know, the hat and shit. And he is like, he does such evil, but it's to protect the world, and we must do bad things in order to save the ones we love. It's like, I don't give a shit, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know who this fucker is. I just saw him kill a whole bunch of guys that were working the night shift at the air traffic control tower, and I saw him kill a random brown man that I'm being told is a bad guy, but have not seen him do anything bad. So, if you say so. And then we cut to some really horribly put together, like, credit sequences where all the text is, like, jumping at you like this, and it's shaking. It's like, and I hate it. It's all CGI fire. And we get to learn who the VFX artist for the movie is, chat. And I don't know what his full name is, but I do know the full name of the VFX artist, Chad, who's responsible for all the CGI in this. His name is Steve Spaz Williams. What a fucking name. And apparently they thought Spaz did such a great job that, like, hey man, we really appreciate the extra work you're putting into all the VFX in this movie. We're gonna name the dog after you. And the dog's name, he is like a little puppy in the movie. Spawn has a puppy, which is weird. And we're gonna name the dog Spaz. And he's like, cool, and he keeps doing the awful opening montage. We then cut from that, and we are introduced to Martin Sheen's character. I don't know what his name is, and I don't care. He's evil. That's what he does. Like, why is he evil? Did he have a bad childhood? Is he greedy? Did working for, like, the CIA turn him in this way? He's just a sociopath? You don't know. You don't know, and you don't care. All you know is Martin Sheen talks like this through the whole movie. He has, like, a growl in his voice, and he has a really bad black dye hair job. Like, just why are you trying to make him younger? It's Martin Sheen. People like Martin Sheen as an actor. Who gives a fuck? I mean, I guess they just want to say black hair equals evil. Black hair equals evil. Make sure, give him black hair. It's like, okay. And so he has this really bad dye job, and his beard is, like, also completely black. I'm like, this doesn't look natural. And he's talking to some fat guy. It's the Violator. It's the clown, John Leguizamo's character. And for whatever reason, he's in the darkness. Like, he's in shadows. But we just saw him in the opening credits because they show off the entire cast. And we see John Leguizamo going, So I don't know why you're hiding him, because we know what he looks like. But okay. And they have an evil plan, okay, where they want to... They need a fall guy to attack this North Korean facility that's filled with this bioweapon. It's kind of like fucking Resident Evil. They gotta set that off. Have that guy be the fall guy, and then they can gain more power or whatever. Martin Sheen's character gain more power, and then he can basically create weapon systems that would counteract this bio weapon that North Korea is making. But we need to send a fall guy there, and we need to destroy the facility and infect all the North Koreans. And that's the plan. And they're like, cool, excellent. The Clown's like, who do you have in mind? And Martin Sheen's like, I have one man in mind, my best agent. If he's your best agent, then why do you want to send him to do this? I guess that's because Satan and the Clown want Al Simmons to lead the forces of hell. I don't know why. I guess because he's like the best soldier in the world. I guess that's implied. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we cut from that. And we're introduced to Al Simmons' home life, chat, or at least, he's not really home all the time. But don't worry, chat, because we are introduced to his wife, Wanda, and his bodyguard, Terry, or I guess the bodyguard to his family when he's away on missions, killing random brown people. And it's obvious from the first beat that Wanda is fucking Terry. There's no question. They're constantly flirting back. She goes, to the grocery store, and she's like, I'll see you later, Terry. I can give you some leftovers later. And he goes, okay. There is no doubt in my mind that those two were fucking anyway, long before Al Simmons becomes Spawn, dies and becomes Spawn. There's no question about that. That marriage was failing from the start. A question is Spawn's daughter, I don't know what his daughter's name is that his daughter, or is that Terry and Wanda's kid? I forget what it is. I don't remember. Because there's a 5-year, there's a 5-year fucking gap, but I have no idea. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so and there's also a weird thing. So for whatever reason, you'll have these scenes, and then there'll be advertising within the movie. And so you'll notice that she has an air freshener, but it's the face of the Violator, the Clown. I'm like, why do they have that? Is it because I'm always watching you, Spawn? Is that what it is? I have no fucking clue. But there's an air freshener for the Violator, and I assume it just smells like farts. I assume it smells like farts constantly. So clearly, Spawn's wife of Wanda, she's into some kinky shit, and she's probably got a fart fetish or something. She loves that Violator, John Leguizamo's stinky dinky farts, chat. So she's snuffing that thing, and she leaves. And eventually Spawn, I thought it was Spawn, so I guess it is Spawn's kid. So she must have been a baby at this point, or maybe she was pregnant with the kid. I don't remember. But Terry, he leaves, and fucking Al Simmons walks out of the house. He goes, what you doing talking to my wife, Terry? He's like, she's going to the grocery store, and she's going to get me some leftovers after you guys are done eating. She's like, fine, let's get in the car. And so they get in the car because Al Simmons is reporting to Martin Sheen because he's got an important mission in North Korea. And listen, chat, it makes so much sense. If you're doing an undercover a Black Ops mission to North Korea, where you have to infiltrate the society of North Korea, it makes so much sense to send a black man to do so, because he would definitely fit in. He would easily fit in, no question. But they drive, and they talk about how cool Wanda is, I suppose. Luke the Boss, thank you for the 1 minute. You know what is really egregious? Terry's black in the comics, but here he's so white. He's even more freaked up. Oh, that's interesting. They were like, oh, it's just too black. I wonder if that's one of those things oh, we can't have this much black people in it. That's just too black. I bet that's what happened. I'm betting you that's what the thinking was. That's fucked up thinking, though. Oh, boy. So where are we? Oh, yeah, so fucking Terry drops off Al Simmons, and Al Simmons and Martin Sheen have a little talk, and Al Simmons is upset because he's like, hey, man, I know that we had to complete that mission and kill that random brown man in the airplane, but I felt kind of bad about killing those air traffic controllers. You told me that there'd be no one in that tower. And Martin Sheen's like, what's the big deal? There's casualties. There's always collateral damage. Al, come on, you know this business. And he's like, so again, to just emphasize how evil Martin Sheen is in this scene, there are several things. There's several things. Not only already where he has the grizzle, the growling voice, the bad dye job, but he also smokes these all black cigarettes, and he has a goldfish bowl, not filled with goldfish, chat, but filled with scorpions. It's like, why does he have these things? I get it, he's evil, I understand. But why would you have a goldfish bowl full of scorpions? Because it's cool, kids. And the ashtray is in the scorpion goldfish bowl, and so it's like, oh, the only time I can feel anything is when they sting me. And so he's like, oh, it's always a risk putting out your evil looking black cigarette into the fish bowl of doom. But he's like, well, you know that there's collateral involved in these missions, Al. And he's like, I want out of this outfit. He's like, okay, I'll make sure that you can leave. However, you need to complete one more mission for me, and then you can leave. Anytime you're already like at, button heads of an individual and like in a movie, and that you're saying like, I want out of this, I don't like you, you're obviously evil, and they say, okay, true, but work for me one more time and then you can leave. That's always a fucking trap. That's never gonna work out for you. He would have been, again, he's a fucking special black ops, soldier, and he doesn't realize this. And he's like, all right, that sounds safe to me, sure. Where am I going? I want you to infiltrate North Korea to attack this bioweapons facility. And he goes, I'm a black man. I'm not going to really fit in there. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It's a movie. He's like, all right. And so then he leaves, and then we're introduced to the character of Priest, and she is fucking ridiculous. She looks like a extra from G.I. Joe, where she looks like the Baroness. She looks like the Baroness from G.I. Joe, where all of her outfits are over-exaggerated. They're either like really shiny silver or all black leather, and they all emphasize the bosom, chat. The tatas are like, woo, right up there. And to make sure that you all know she's evil, she's talking to Martin Sheen. She says, I can't wait to finally deal with Al. He's been in my way for so long. And you notice that I'm petting something here, Chad. You're thinking, oh, does she have like a cat? Are they going that far? Where she's like, like fucking Ernst Blofeld from James Bond. No, she's not petting a cat. She's petting a fucking a spider, a giant tarantula. Because she's evil. And he's like, yes, we're going to go there and kill him ourselves. Now, I'm confused by this because, okay, like, we want to kill him, and we're going to go to North Korea to do it. Why don't you just do it there? Like, I know he's like the fall guy. There's stuff, this shit I'm confused by. But, all right, so we go to North Korea. And he gets in there. He easily, subtlety. He easily infiltrates the North Korean society, chat. And he's at the weapons depot, and he's killing a bunch of North Korean workers. And eventually he gets to the biochemical division, and he's setting up all these explosives, but he's like, oh, these will kill the North Korean population. This is evil. And then Martin Sheen and the Baroness show up, and I go, ha, Spawn, we also infiltrated North Korea. Little did you know, we easily snuck in. And he's like, what are you guys doing here? We're here to betray you. You will never leave the company. You only leave one way, Al, and that's death. And I think the Baroness shoots his knees out. He's like, oh, he fucking shoots his kneecaps off. He's like, oh. And then they start squirting him with, like, green jism. It's like this green jelly substance, and he's like, and then he takes like a fucking, like lighter, and it's like, see you in hell, Al, and then he burns him alive. He's like, ah, and he burns alive, chat, and then it's like, why didn't you just kill him? Why didn't you just kill him when he was there? Just like, all right, fucking, we'll just kill him here, and then we'll make everyone think that he was part of that. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Who gives a shit? Because no one finds out that it was Al Simmons who was a part of the North Korean operation. So why didn't you just kill him in the office and then easily do it? Why do this whole thing in North Korea and then you just send the Baroness to do the shit in North Korea? Because they blow up the facility using the bombs that he set up. It doesn't make any sense. And so Martin Sheen and the Baroness, Priest is her name, they blow up the facility, and oh boy. We then see the burned Ken doll body. He lost the peen, chat. The peen is gone. She's evil, but she's fine. She's pretty. She's got a nice booty. They show it off in the movie quite often. But we see him falling down kind of like a butthole. Like it's just a straight, just meaty butthole, chat, and it's on fire. Ah! I call it the hell anus. The anus of hell. Ah! And he's like, we see all these flashes of CGI Satan and the Violator of John Leguizamo. And Martin Sheen going, and the Baroness going, and I get evil. And then we cut, and Spawn wakes up in an alley. Well, he's not Spawn yet, but he's Al Simmons still. But Al Simmons wakes up in an alleyway, and he looks like baloney. It's like the consistency of his skin is like fucking baloney. And he apparently woke up in a city called Rat City. Now, listen, I'm not I know I'm not a individual who's known for naming cities, chap, but if I were to name a city, it would not be Rat City. I don't think you're going to get a lot of people to move in anytime soon. But to be fair, the city looks like absolute shit, and there's rats everywhere, and this, I guess, is where all the hobos congregate, and he's in this, it's raining, it's never sunny there. It's always raining. Even though, like, the time of day changes throughout the movie, it is always nighttime, and it was always raining in Rat City. And so, like, is this like Limbo? I think it's like, is this like an interpretation of, like, Limbo, and we're stuck here? But no, it's just a place called Rat City. And so he wakes up, and he is fucking naked, and he's gross. And all the hobos are like, I would eat you, but I feel like you would try to kill me. And he this little kid named Zach gives him some clothes that clearly are just covered in feces and urine. But he's like, I need to wear something. And then he meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, Chad, who was in the movie. He was narrating the movie in the beginning. And he's like, oh, Al, I'm here to help you to fight the forces of evil. And he's like, I'm not here to talk to you. I need to find my family. I don't have a dick. And I'd be upset about that. Like, I wouldn't want to talk to Obi-Wan Kenobi at this point either. I'd be much more concerned about finding my family. And, you know, I'd be concerned about my lack of genitalia. So he leaves, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, well, I'll be here in case you want to train to use your chain nipples later on in the movie. And then we cut. Thank you. Beef Supreme. I like that name. Thank you for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing very well. Wem, good to see you. Hope you're having a nice day. Got a lot of quality people here, chat. I like it. But we cut, and he leaves Rat City. I guess Rat City is like near the suburbs of his home, which I wouldn't know if I want to live in the suburbs near Rat City. I'd be a little concerned about that. But he goes, and it's fucking daytime, so I guess it takes him a long time to get to his home because it's fucking daytime. No hint of rain for a few hours ago. It's fucking dry, Chad. Dry as a bone. Man, we're in the birthday party of his little girl. I don't know, Sarah. I don't know what the fuck his name is, or her name is. I'm going to call her Sarah for the sake of convenience. Little Sarah's birthday party where she and her friends are being entertained by John Leguizamo, who is even more clown-like. If I saw this fucking weird, fat, Pennywise-looking motherfucker, I'd be like, absolutely not. He's like, how you doing, kids? Let's play a game. Boop, boo-boo, boo, peekaboo, and he's like doing balloon animals and shit, and he's joking, having a good time. Spawn wanders in, smelling of feces and urine, and he's just, and again, this would be creepy as hell. If you saw like a guy like this, who just looks like baloney and is looking at little kids, you'd be like, get the fuck out of here. You'd be very concerned. But not Spawn's daughter, chat, not Al Simmons' daughter, because she takes note. She takes note of this mysterious baloney man, and she goes over to him. He's like, oh, don't look at me. She's like, do you want some candy? She's not freaked out in any capacity. A guy whose dick got burned off and Obi-Wan is a Star Wars. Right, man? It is. I can't believe it. This is if Obi-Wan just still tried to help Anakin after he got his dick burned off and didn't try to kill him for the rest of the film or the series. And he's like, would you want some candy? And then the parents, the Wanda comes over and she sees the little girl talking to the baloney man. And he's like, stay away from the baloney. He's, and the husband, Terry, that's the thing. You find out that Wanda married Terry. That was going to happen anyway, chat. But they're together and they're raising the little Sarah, or whatever the hell her name is. And he's like, hey, get out of here. What are you doing here? Or he's like, well, what do you need? Why are you doing here? And then the violator, the clown, he knows this. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's my assistant. He gets out of the car sometimes. He's like, bad, crispy, bad. Like, John Leguizamo constantly makes fun of the fact that Spawn is both crispy, well done, and he has no dick. He brings that up often in the movie. And he's like, I'm sorry, he just gets out. He's like, well, you take your friend and get the hell out of here. He's like, oh, of course. But before I go, let me give your daughter something. I love kids. They're so cute. And he grabs this disgusting fucking looking doll of himself, which I'm sure they sold at Toys R Us back in the day. Here you go, little girl. She's like, it's ugly. I love it. He goes, I know. And he grabs Spawn. And then we cut, and this is just the John Leguizamo, I'm going to fart and burp and do bodily humor at you for the next 5 minutes, where he goes back to Rat City, where it is again raining. It's raining again, chat, and it's dark again. Like, what's the fucking time frame? Did they, like, travel in that car for, like, 12 fucking hours until it was nighttime? Did they walk back to Rat City? Like, I don't fucking know. But he takes him down this alleyway. And by the way, all the hobos are like, fucking out of sight, out of mind. We are not going to talk to these guys. Like, they see the Violator. The Violator looks like the Violator. He takes out the clown makeup, but he's still very clown-esque. And he's dragging Spawn in the Violator. Like, he puts him in the tray. He's like, I'll be right back. I got to get some goodies. And he takes, like, this, you know, this, he's got, like, a smoothie or something, which it's funny because it obviously, or a slushie, this big slushie, which actually falls down in the shot. You notice that when he puts all this food down, it, like, the slushie falls over and it spills. But then the next time you see in the shot, it's completely right, and it's, like, no problem whatsoever. It's like, I saw that fucking thing spill. But Spawn's like, who are you? And he's like, oh, think of me as your guardian angel. And he starts farting. Ooh, oh, that was a wet one. Every time a demon farts, every time a person farts, a demon gets his wings. Oh, that was twins. And that's all he does in the movie. He's just farting and doing humor that it's like it has no context. It's just like, what gross things can we make John Leguizamo do in this movie? He does a little bit of a stinky dinky, if you will, chat. Like a booger, he sticks to this. And he's going on about, don't you remember, Spawn, the thing, or Al, the deal that you made with my master, Mabag, or whatever the fuck his name is, and he goes, get away from me, you freak. And he's like, oh, you call me a freak? I mean, at least I still got a dick. He's like, let me show you a flashback, and he grabs him, and they do like a flashback sequence where we're inside the CGI hell butthole again. And he's like, see? Oh, no, that's what it is. Because he's trying to make him remember. So it's not this. He doesn't. There's two flashbacks. There's this first flashback. He's like, don't you remember when Martin Sheen betrayed you? When he tried to kill you? I remember. And so they do the flashback, and it's all done really fast, where Martin Sheen, fishbowl full of scorpions, the Baroness, they killed you in North Korea. He's like, oh, I'm mad. He's like, I know you are. I know. I believe me. I understand. I get it. I'd be a little peeved about getting my dick burned off too. But let me show you. Let me show you to your grave so you can have your true power. And he's like, okay. And so they go to the graveyard, chat. They go to the graveyard. And he's like, he sees his gravestone, Al Simmons, soldier for the United. It's like not even great. It's not like a husband, father, and a good friend. No, just Al Simmons, soldier. And he goes, oh my God, no. And he's like, yeah, it's fucked up, ain't it? Here, have a shovel with my face on it. And for whatever reason, the Violator provides him with this shovel that has his face on it that also talks to Al. He's like, dig me hard, stick me in there, Al. And so Al then starts digging, and he digs up his body because reason, and he's all fucking gross and dead in there. He's like, no. But he finds this locket, which is the locket has the picture of his wife, Wanda, and I guess his baby or whatever. I don't fucking know. It's Wanda. And he takes it and he puts it on, but then it absorbs into his body, and he then starts getting the Spawn armor. He's like, oh, that's the essence of your power, Spawn. Yes. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, here, just give it a minute. Sometimes it happens to every kind of guy, you know. We all have these problems. And then that starts to activate and starts to wrap around his body, and the CGI's awful. Spikes start coming out of his nips. And she's like, my nipples. He's like, yes, your nipples. Until he finally forms the Spawn outfit. After that, the face comes back, and he's all baloney man again. He's like, what is this? And he's like, don't you remember you made a deal with Satan? Let's do another flashback. And they do another flashback where we see Spawn falling through the CGI fiery butthole, and and it's awful. We're then shown Satan, and he's like, and it's so bad where they can't even, the animation, they don't even bother like doing lip syncing. Like they just have some kind of like Megatron wannabe-esque voice. Spawn, I have chosen you to lead my armies upon Earth to start the apocalypse. And Spawn's like, why do you ask me to do? He sounds like Kratos. Why? You are evil and like me. And if you do what I ask, I will give you a chance to see Wanda again. And apparently, that is all that fucking Al Simmons needs. It's like, I will lead your army so I can see my wife. And then he's like, excellent. And then we see the background, and it's all these like little spawns that are going, me. And they're all, it's like they just copy and pasted the image over and over and over and over again. So they're all doing the same fucking thing and all that. And it looks fucking awful, chat. Oh, that's what he sounds like. He sounds like, yeah, the Claw from Inspector Gadget. Gadget. Is that the same voice actor? It might be, Chad. Yeah, he's like the Claw. Lisa. Heart hands. Good to see you, Lisa. Hope you're doing very well. And then Sean, Sean. You know, Sean. We then cut back from the flashback, and Al Simmons is like, no, what have I done? And he's like, I know, who'd have thought you'd take a deal like that, but come on, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna start the apocalypse early. You're gonna bang your broad. I'm gonna eat good. What's not losing everything? We're just getting stuff. It's great. And he just farts again because that's what he does. Meekly, she would think the term is, I'm having a self-care, and I hear you. You are evil. No, don't have a self-care night, Meekly Sheepling. No. Good to see you. Hope you're doing very well, Meekly. But pleasure to have you. It's been a hot minute. Welcome back. And then immediately right next to them, there happens to be some Satan worshipers. And they're trying to gain the power of the devil and stuff. They're like, dude, that's not how you do it. And then they literally look to their right and they go, whoa, are you guys like demons or something? And then John Guizamo's Violet is like, Jesus Christ, why does God get all the good worshipers and we are left of all the, and they use the word, left of all the retards. And it's like, dated references. And they scare them away. They don't kill them. They just scared the shit out of them. Eventually, oh my lord, we cut back, and the Violator drops off Spawn in Rat City again, where everything is still dark out again, and it's raining. Although there was some consistency when they went to the graveyard, it was dark as well. No, not raining, but they're there. And Spawn's like, oh, I will not join your evil army, Violator. It's like, you already made a deal with the big man. You have to do it. And Spawn's like, no! And he, like, grabs the Violator in a headlock. And he's like, I see you a little agitated. Why don't you just take it easy? Blah! And the Violator, he disappears. He has teleportation powers, and he pushes Spawn. He's like, why don't you relax, and I'll come back in a little bit, okay? And then we see another gross out scene where he goes to a garbage can where there's like this leftover pizza. And he opens this pizza box, and there's a slice of pizza that's covered in worms and maggots and gross shit. And he goes, oh, disgusting. I hate anchovies. And he picks off like one anchovy, and he eats it. He's like, I'll see you later, Spawn. I hate to talk and eat and work at the same time. It's not good for the digestion. Ooh. And he farts, ooh, excuse me. And he waddles away. Eventually, Obi-Wan comes back, and he's like, hey, so that happened. Do you want me to train you to use your chain nipples yet? And he goes, no, I don't want your help. I don't want your help at this point. I have a mission. I have made my choice to destroy the world or whatever. Also, the Violator tells him, this to let you know, once you feel a little bit better, Martin Sheen, he's gonna be there. He's gonna go to a gala. So you can kill him right there. Just kill him. It'll be great. You get him to start the apocalypse. It's gonna be so much fun. And he basically tells him that, but once you're ready, once you're feeling up to it, and then he leaves. And Obi-Wan's like, listen, man, the Violator, he's a piece of shit. I wouldn't do what he wants you to do, okay? I mean, you're indulging in evil. Let me help you use your chain nipples for good. He's like, no, I'm gonna use my chain nipples for evil. That's what I want to do. And it's like, all right. Eventually, we cut to, oh, my lord. We cut to Martin Sheen, the Baroness, and Martin Sheen is getting dressed up for the gala, and the Baroness is in an even more ridiculous outfit than earlier, chat. Now it's all, like, super shiny silvery, and it really emphasizes her bosoms. And she's got like this bright red lipstick on, these bright red fingernails. It's like, I get it. You're a fucking supervillain. And he's like, as soon as I'm back from the gala, we could discuss more evil things. And I guess in the time that, of the 5-year period that Al was dead, because of the situation in North Korea and because his biological weapon was unleashed and it killed like a shit ton of North Koreans, he has greenlighted this project around the world that would activate all these missiles at like a specific time. And if you're developing biological weapon, they'll shoot at you. It's like nukes or something. And it's like basically creates like a new version of like a missile defense system, except they're all nuclear weapons. And somehow he got the green light for it, which is crazy. And she's like, fantastic. You call if you need anything. He's like, I shall, but I'm gonna go hang out with my friend Terry. And that's what we do, chat, because Terry's like, there's something weird going on, like involved this project with nuclear weapons and things, and I don't know. And then, Al died under mysterious circumstances in North Korea, maybe. Do we know he died in North Korea? I don't fucking know, but he's dead. And he's like, I don't know, I think there's something weird about Martin Sheen and the Baroness. I'm just getting a little funky feeling. But he goes to the gala where he meets up with Martin Sheen, and they're talking. He's like, Terry, my favorite man, my best man. Hello, everyone. Just look at Terry. And they're like, oh, Terry, you're so good. We love you. He's like, oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. How's the broad? How's the kid doing at home? And they're like, well, my wife and my daughter are doing great. I'm sure they are. Come on, let's fuck some bitches. And so they walk away. But meanwhile, Spawn, he's getting all geared up. He's got like a ton of shotguns and assault rifles and pistols, but he wants to make a fucking entrance, shit. And so he steals from Batman. Have you seen Batman 89 at this point? You know that one shot where he comes through the fucking museum window and everyone's like, whoa, it looks fucking cool and shit. He does the same thing, except what if we just put a shit ton of CGI on top of it? And so he has that, Spawn has that red cape, because before he's looked like Venom for the whole movie. But now it's like, okay, we got to make him look a little different. Red cape. And so he has this giant fucking massive CGI red cape, and he crashes through the top of the roof with stained glass window and shit. And it's like, everyone's like, ah! But he's obviously not there, because we even have Martin Sheen, who's like looking at Spawn going, oh, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But it's like, you're not even looking at him. And he falls down on the ground. And Spawn's like, Martin Sheen. He's like, oh, and he grabs him, and he's like, who are you? He's like, you don't recognize me. And he removes the facial thing, like all the goo disappears. Do you see me now? He's like, Al, it can't be. You died all those years ago. I got better. It's like, no, he didn't. He really didn't, chat. I wouldn't say I got better if my dick got burned off and I look like baloney. But I guess in his case, I mean, he is corporeal. He is walking around. But I guess the Baroness, she was monitoring the situation, and she has shown up like with these 2 assault rifles, chat, and she's like, let Martin Sheen go, and she shoots at Spawn, and Spawn's like, oh, the Baroness, it is you. And then he jumps up, and Martin Sheen's like, kill him, make sure he's dead this time. And she's like, I'll take care of it, boss. And then she's like starts walking, because he disappeared, I guess. And eventually he pops up. He's like, Baroness. And then they battle. And they drop the guns. We get them some super awkward fistfights, which is weird because Michael Jai White, he's a trained mixed martial artist. He's known for that. I think he has his own dojo. Like, he has a history of knowing his shit when it comes to mixed martial arts, chat. And yet it looks so fucking awkward in this movie, because he's in this fucking suit with all this makeup, and he's working with an actress who also clearly does not know how to fight either. And it's all these quick camera cuts as like they're fighting, but it's like, come on. And right before she's about to go for his crotch, which again, honey, it's not gonna work. He's Ken Doll Smooth down there. He's just baloney. His belt buckle, near his groin, has a skull on it. His fucking cod piece, which is like, why does he have a cod piece? There's nothing down there. Juts out at her and bites her fucking foot off. It goes, and he's like, ah! Like his faux penis. His faux penis cod piece jumps at her like a snake and bites her fucking ankle. And then he goes, ugh! And he throws her off the balcony. Ah! And then she hits a fucking table. And then he looks down at her, and she's like, wait. And he fucking blows her head off. Kills her, chat. His crotch bit her. Is she dead? She's dead now. he shoots her in the head from up top. Even though he hears like Obi-Wan Kenobi, don't do it. Don't shoot her in the face. And he's like, I don't give a shit. Boom, she's dead. I feel like in the movie, they're like, oh, there's like she's set up to be like a villain in the sequel. Because I know that her character is in the comic books. I imagine she comes back like as another villain. And it's like, oh, don't worry now. She's going to come back in Spawn 2. Nah, she's dead. But then he starts to feel kind of weird, and he runs away. But the police and the SWAT team have shown up, and we get a really awkward action scene on the side of a building where he's like, oh, what am I going to do? And he starts crawling on the building like fucking Venom. Like literally climbing on the building like this. Climbing up it and around it and to the side. He's like, he's fucking Venom, guys. Come on. Luke the boss in 2 minutes. She's supposed to come back later. I thought so. Within the movie? Maybe within the movie, because I'm like, because there's like a weird scene. We'll get to it, but I'm like, I think there's something more to this. Blackstone greets and salutations to you. Hope you're living long and prospering, good sir. Welcome. Oh, my Lord. What happened? Oh, yeah, so he's climbing up the wall like fucking Venom. Yes, in the movie? Oh, okay. So that's what was supposed to happen. They must have cut that out. And the cops all start shooting at him, and then he's like, this isn't working, being Venom. And then his CGI cape comes out, and it wraps around him and makes him invisible. And they're like, where'd he go? He's gone. And then for whatever reason, it's like, oh, at that point, oh, the cape, it's like, just stay that way for a while so they can't spot you and then leave once they got the searchlights off. But he's like, nah, fuck that. And he just takes off the cape, and they're going, oh, he's right there. And they start shooting at him again. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And eventually, he unleashes his chain nipples, and he swings away like Venom, chat. He's fucking Venom in a red cape, goddammit. Eventually, we transition back down, and Terry is upset over the situation. He's like, I gotta go check my family. Martin Sheen's like, all right, sure, whatever. But Martin Sheen's very concerned over the dead body of Priest. And there's a line from an extra in this, like one of the paramedics, where it's like, what's the line? We have an injured person who was shot in the head. And he goes, oh, yeah, she's dead. Load her up. Oh, yeah, nope, she's dead. Nope, that ain't helping her. And, like, Martin Sheen gives this, like, super long, loving look at the Baroness. I'm like, okay, clearly they were fucking on the side. Like, that was the one person he cared about. He's like, oh, no, Baroness. They're like, nope, she's dead. But then they put her in, like, a cryo tube, which is not like a regular, like, black bag, like, oh, okay, bagger and tagger. It's like, no, okay, they're doing something weird with her. So clearly she was supposed to come back, I guess. I wonder, as another character, a cyborg, I don't fucking know. But then after that scene, we see the Violet. He's like, hey, how you doing? How was it in the party? I wasn't invited. Oh, sorry. I made a stinky. And, he's like, fucking Spawn tried to kill me. He's like, is that the worst that could happen? I mean, we are trying to start the apocalypse, aren't we? And he's like, but I know I'm working for the devil and stuff, but this feels weird. He's like, hey, don't worry. I was talking to the big man earlier. Listen to me, Martin. Listen. This is what we're going to do. Little extra in insurance for you. How about you put in a heart monitor that's connected to all the nuclear weapons around the world, so if you die, they'll all go off. That way, there's no way Spawn would want to kill you. He doesn't want to hurt anyone but you, right? But now, he would hurt all these other people. And he goes, that's a really good idea, unless Spawn is unaware of the fact that he has that fucking heart monitor, but apparently it doesn't cross Martin Sheen's mind in any capacity. He goes, I will get this heart monitor put inside of my body tonight. Thank you, the Violator. He goes, no problem. Always here to help. And it's like, all right, I'd be a little concerned about that. Where are we now? I think. Oh yes, basketball scene, chat. So then we cut to Wanda is, funny enough, even though she was married to an assassin and a Black Ops operative, she does talk. She's a speaker at, like, she does presentations on on humanitarian crises around the world. It's like, wow, honey, you don't know how to pick them very well, do you? But yeah, she's like talking about like all this genocide and this war. Can't we just all get along? And it's like, and you married a sociopathic murderer. Okay. Bad choice in men is all I'll say. But then the little girl, Sarah, the fuck her name is, she wanders off because she's heard this, her mom talk about this before. And she sees a basketball and she's like, I fucking love basketball. She's all about that. Also, her puppy Spaz is with her, and so they're playing basketballs. And then, you know, Spawn shows up. He's like, hi. She goes, hi, Baloney Man. I'm not Baloney Man. My name is Al Spawn. Al Spawn. Okay. He's like, just call me Baloney Man. And he's like, I like that you came by my party. I'm sorry I couldn't give you any candy. And he's like, it's okay. It's fine. You're just so adorable. Thank you. And so they're talking, having a good time. And she's like, I think you're a hero. And he's why I'm not a hero. I'm a monster. It's like, no, you're a hero. Based on fucking nothing. She loves Space Jam. I guess they would. It's 97, right? Space Jam came out in 96. Witness! Witness me! Oh, Jesus God. Thank you, Czar Gaming, for the... Thank you so much for the raid, my friend. I hope you're doing very well tonight. Good to see you. Thank you. Cheers and salute to you. Thank you for sharing your audience with mine. But eventually the mom's done with her lecture series about genocide and war and shit, and she's looking for her daughter. And Spawn pulls a Batman and just disappears, chat. And she's like, honey, who are you talking to? He's like, I was talking to Al Spawn Baloney Man, but he's gone, mommy. And she's like, all right, well, we got to get going. And Spaz, is he doesn't go with him. He goes and follows Spawn because he knows who his daddy was. He knows who came home every day and fed him. He's going to Spawn. And then we cut to a random fucking scene. It makes no sense. Where it's the Violator who has been watching all of this transpire, and he is in a very tight, form-fitting cheerleader outfit. And he's like, Spawn, he's our guy. S to the P to the A to the Ani. Spawny. S to the P to the A, W, N, Y. Spawny. It's Spawny. It's like, why are we doing this? And he's thrusting at the camera. We see his gut. We see his girth, chat. We see his, you know, I don't know, fupa? I don't know if you want to call it that. Just thrusting at us. It's like, no. But even Satan's like, all right, that's enough. Because fucking Satan comes out of nowhere and he drags the Violator back into hell to remind him, first of all, what the fuck are you doing? Don't do that again. He sounds like this. He sounds like Claw. What are you doing? It's going to kill my voice if I keep doing that, chat. He's like, as you know, we are trying to get Spawn to kill Martin Sheen so he could lead my armies of hell and start the apocalypse early. Like, I don't know why. Why don't you just kill, like, Martin Sheen now? Why does it have to be Spawn? Is Spawn just like, he's the best? I mean, he's kind of been a fuck-up so far. He hasn't been, like, really good at his job. He doesn't know how to use his powers or anything. So why don't just, once Martin Sheen gets the thing inside of him, the clown just kills him and starts the apocalypse and have, like, the clown lead the forces of hell? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It is Frank Welker. No wonder. Oh, my Lord. Hey, thank you so much for the 10 biddies. Appreciate, or 9 biddies, excuse me. Here's the 10 biddies. If there was ever a clip you need to show someone to sum up the movie as a whole, this is the one. That's the one. The clown, John Leguizamo, thrusting his fupa at the camera while going S to the P to the A, W, N, Y. Go Spawny. Go Spawny. That's what he does. So it's just like at the S to the P to the A, W, N, Y. Go Spawny. Go Spawny. Frank Welker would do anything for money. And, I mean, he's literally doing his Claw voice, chat. That's exactly what it is. It makes sense because he sounds like fucking Megatron. I was like, oh. Oh, it's Frank Welker. Of course it is. And he's like, we must. Basically, it's like, I want to make sure the plan is going to succeed. And it's like, okay, cool. And he's like, don't worry, your evilness. I'll make sure everything goes according to plan. I promise. We then cut from that. And we see Martin Sheen having the surgery immediately, chat, and they're putting the heart monitor into his heart. So again, and the doctor says, like, no one would ever try to kill you, sir, now that your heart monitor is connected to all the nuclear weapons that we have. It's like, why would you fucking do that? Who greenlit this project? It doesn't make any sense. And then we cut to the Violator. He's watching it on a TV, and he's dipping these live worms in mayonnaise. Chad. Now, I love my mayonnaise, but not nearly as much as John Leguizamo's Violator, Chad, because he's dipping like live worms into mayonnaise, swinging them around and going, oh, I love dinner in a movie. He's farting all the time. It's like, oh, my fucking God. If he farts one more fucking time, and he's going to fart more times, Chad, but I'm done with it. Eventually, we cut back to Rat City, where we were hanging out with Zach. Oh, yeah, and Spawn, I forgot to mention. Spaz, the dog, he joins Spawn. Like, Spawn's like, get out of here, Spaz. I don't want you here. And the dog's like, feed me. You're delicious. You're made of bologna. He's like, fine. He rips off part of his face and feeds it to Spaz. And Spaz like, this is a start of a great relationship, Dad. And he takes him back to Rat City. Eventually, we cut back to Frankie. Frankie, hope you're doing well. Frankie C, that is. We cut back to Rat City, where people are also eating garbage. Like, it's like so many people are eating or doing gross things in this movie. But we see that Zach does have a dad, and his dad is giving him moldy sandwiches, and Zach promptly goes, vomits it up because it's mold. And the dad then fucking hits him. And he's like, why are you spitting up good food, Dad? It's moldy. It's moldy if I say it's moldy. And I'd be like, fuck this guy. And then Spawn comes over and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he grabs and he throws him. And Zach's like, no, he's my dad. Yeah, he hits me a lot, but he's still my dad. And Spawn's like, I don't want to be here anymore. And so he goes up onto his cathedral where it is raining. Where it is raining, chat. And it is dirty and it's covered in shit. And then the Violet's like, how you doing, Spawny? Good to see you. You did an okay job at the gala, but you didn't finish the job. You gotta kill Martin Sheen. And he's like, I won't kill Martin Sheen. It's not what I want to do anymore. And it's like, you gotta do it. He's like, I don't work for you. Nah! And he pushes him over. He pushes over the Violator, and the Violator's like, don't be pushing me. It's hard for me to get up. I'm like a turtle. And then he sees that Spaz is there, and he's barking at the Violator, and he's like, oh, I love dogs. They're so cute. They're so tasty. I could just eat them up. And he grabs the dog. He's like, oh, he's about to force Spaz at this point. And it's like, oh, my God. And then fucking Spawn's like, fuck that. And he shoots the Violator, and, the Violator drops Spaz, and the Spaz is like, or excuse me, Violet's like, okay, that's enough. I gotta give you. I've been nice to you, but it looks like I gotta love you even harder. I gotta teach. I gotta give you some tough love there, Spawny. Ooh, they call me the Violator. As you know, I'm not the regurgitator. I'm not the Friolator. I'm the Violator. And he turns in this giant monster. It's this demon, and he's all CGI. Like, sometimes he's like a real puppet, but then other times he's a big CGI thing, and most of the time it's a CGI thing. And we get a big old CGI fight with the Violator and Spawn, and the Violator just kicks his fucking ass. Like, they're on top of the cathedral. He throws. I think that's the thing. They're fighting, and Spawn uses his chain nipples to throw the Violator off the cathedral, and he chases after him down there. But he's disappeared, Chad. Even though the fucking Violator's now 12 feet fucking tall, he disappeared. He's a master of stealth. The abusive dad, he freaks out because he sees this fight. But the Violator just fucking grabs. He's like, oh! Because the dad, Zach's dad, accidentally bumps into the Violator. And the Violator just grabs him and goes, bonk, bonk, bonk. And then throws him. But he's not dead. He's just super fucked up and derpy now. Luke the boss, think of the Timmies. I do like the creature design. And you know what? The puppet's not bad. And it's very accurate to the comics. And so he throws the dad, and then Zach's like, no, my dad who hits me a lot. And he goes over, and then the Spawn and the fucking Violator continue to fight. And the Violator's like, okay, I'm done with this. And he grabs Spawn, he impales him onto a fucking fence. And he goes, I'm just gonna let you chill out for a little while, okay? He's like, oh, Jesus, look what you did to me. Oh, it's all, my undies are all up in my ass. And he rips out his underwear, where he's like, hey, look, skid marks. I'll see you later. I'll let you cool off for a little while. And he farts again, he leaves. Eventually, Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up and he goes, okay, listen, do you want me to help you now? And he's like, fuck, fine. And he lifts him down from the fence. And they go check on Zach's dad, who's like fucked up now. He's broke every bone in his body. But Zach's better off. He's better off. Like, Spawn will be his new dad. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Spawn will be his dad. And so they send Zach's dad into the ambulance. I don't know how he's going to pay for that, but whatever. He goes to the hospital. And Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, okay, listen, we need to train you in order for you to use your abilities properly. So like, okay, cool. We're going to get a fucking montage of Spawn using his abilities. Because we've seen like little bits and pieces, and they've all been kind of lame. But here we go, the proper fucking montage. And so we get up. Also, the Obi-Wan Kenobi explains who he is. He's like, I'm like you. I've been alive for the past 500 years. I used to be an assassin, but now I work for God? I guess he works for God or Jesus or something. He answers to Jesus. Jesus is like, hey, sup? And they're like, I gotta train you now. You can use your evil for good. And God and JC, like, I'll talk to JC. He'll talk to the big man upstairs, and we'll get you up there someday. It might take a few centuries, but we'll get you up there. And so then we do a training montage, and it is lame as fuck. Good to see you, Leech 5. It is lame as fuck, where he's like, in order to use your chain nipples, you need to concentrate. And so he grabs a random glass bottle, throws it up into the air, and Spawn goes, and his nipples, the chains come out of his nipples, and they have the little skulls on them going, and they bite the bottle. And he's like, you did it. Nice. Okay. Your armor is alive. But you need to control it. Concentrate. And he's like, ugh, and he's looking like he's taking like a big fucking shit. Like, drink some water, Spawn, my lord. And all of a sudden, like, more spikes come out of his armor. He goes, ugh. And he's like, yes, it is truly a part of you now. And then we cut, and he's like, okay, you're ready. And it's like, okay, the final battle's about to happen? Is this what's about? Really? Okay. It's like, nope, you did it. Like, not a longer scene, not going to train for weeks or something like that. It's like, no, you got it. Nipples, armor, spikes, boom, we're done. But before they leave, because Spawn like takes a whole bunch of guns, and fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, you don't need those, man. You don't need those. He's like, you can give them to me. Use your armor's abilities. And he's like, okay. And he gives them the weapons to Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then Spawn then takes a knee. He's like, Zach, take a knee with me. He's like, okay. And he's like, Zach, because at one point they find the dog's collar, and it's kind of insinuated the Violator ate Spaz, but we don't know. And he's like, if you find Spaz, bring him to me. And Zach's like, okay. Doesn't tell Zach where he's going. Doesn't fucking mention that at all. But he's just like, actually, you know what he says? This is what he says. Because he says, clearly the Violator is going to be, because I think the Violator, like, threatens his wife or something. And so Spawn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, they assume, well, we're going to have to make sure Wanda and the kids are okay, and fucking Terry or whatever is okay. So I'm going to head, so that's the decision is made to go to Wanda's. I don't know if fucking Spawn gave Zach the address to Wanda's house. I don't know, but he says, just come and find me. And I guess Zach is a good fucking tracker later on in the movie, because he does come back. Very weird, though. Eventually, we cut to, I think, Terry, who's like, I'm in the movie. And he doesn't like all the bad stuff that's been going on, chat. And he hacks into Martin Sheen's computer, where he fucking finds out that Martin Sheen is evil. And he's like, I would have never thought that. I mean, the bowl of scorpions, I mean, that was weird, but is that evil? I don't know. I wasn't sure. But this confirms that he's evil, that he's put in this heart monitor, and he's working with a demon called the Violator. I'm going to leak this all to the press. And so he's getting all these journalists. He's like, I'm going to leak this all to you as soon as I get home, because this is the 90s, and no one understands the internet. Technician, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Dan Shuing. Very kind of you. Hope you're doing very well tonight. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Martin Sheen's evil? No. Yeah. He figures it out for himself. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Eventually we cut to Spawn, who is, he's riding a motorcycle now at this point, and he's going to Wanda's. But then the Violator's like, no, you're not going to go get Wanda. We need it for our evil plan. And he's in a big old truck, and we get this, which actually, honestly, the choreography of the scene isn't too bad, but it's really awkward. So when we cut back to Spawn, it's obvious that the stuntman is wearing like a super thick version of the costume because Spawn's head is so fucking obnoxiously big. It's like, what if we took a motorcycle helmet, but then just put the Spawn makeup all on top of it? And it's like he's just this giant fucking big head guy just driving this motorcycle. As the Violator, he has this grenade launcher and he's firing at Spawn. He's like, boo! Almost got you there, didn't I, Spawny? S to the P to the A and Y. Spawny. Go Spawny. But Spawn, he then uses his symbiote. It's symbiote, chat. He uses the symbiote because he's Venom. Sorry, he's Venom for Red Cape. And it forms around the motorcycle and turns it into like a giant motorcycle sword. And it... at one point, the Violator, he's able to teleport back and forth, and he teleports back into the driver's seat of the truck, and he goes like, I'm gonna fucking hit you now. They're gonna ram each other, and you know the knife car, the sword car of Spawn hits and explodes the truck, and then we see the Violator go up in the air going, ooh, that was so much fun. I'll see you, Wanda, Spawny. And he's like, okay. And then, you know, Spawn continues to Wanda's house. I guess it does take like 12 or more hours to get to, you know, from Rat City to the suburbs. A long time. Eventually we cut to, Terry and Wanda's house of little Sarah, whatever the fuck her name is. And they hear a knock on the door. And who's a knocking, chat? Well, it's just Uncle Martin Sheen, chat, your favorite evil uncle. Terry, I know you've taken the disc with all that data. And he goes, Martin Sheen, I did do that, but you're evil. He goes, no shit. And then who's right there with him, Chad? Hello, everyone. It's me, everyone's favorite clown. And he goes in there. He's like, how you doing? How you get so... Oh, a little girl. Girls are so cute. I love them. I can eat them up. And it's just John Leguizamo just overacting his ass off. And just showing off really bad CGI. Because at one point, even Martin Sheen's like, I made a mistake making this movie. Because he goes... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. There's this one shot where the Violator, like, his eyeballs pop out and his tongue goes, ugh. Another shot where he deflates his head and it becomes a balloon in his fingers and he's doing Figaro, 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 Figaro. And he does all that until it pops and his head comes back and he goes, well, that was fun. Let's go into the living room. You have any food? Because he farts again, because of course he does. And they go in the living room. Eventually, we cut back to Spawn. He arrives in the suburbs, which I find very amusing. He arrives in the suburbs, Chad opens the door, and he goes to the living room, Chad. And what does he see? He sees Wanda tied into this, I don't know how to describe it. It's a bunch of shit. It's like if you took, it's like calcified poop, and she's tied into the calcified poop like, oh. And Martin Sheen's there. He goes, Spawn, you finally arrived. He's like, let her go. Let her go, Martin Sheen. And he's like, no, I'm evil. And he stabs her in the boob. He's like, no, Wanda. And Wanda dies because she got, as we all know, chat, the boob is insta-death. If you stab a lady, ladies, back me up here. If someone stabs you in the boob, you die automatically. It's like vampires. It's like if you stake a vampire in the heart, dead. Stab a lady in the boob, dead. Same process, Chad. Saying you never do that. And so Wanda dies. And then fucking Spawn's like, oh, I'll kill you, Martin Sheen. And he's like just punching the shit out of Martin Sheen. He's throwing him around the room a lot. Martin Sheen's like, you can't kill me. You can't do it. I have a heart monitor that's connected to all the nuclear weapons that we own. And if you kill me, they'll all go off for some reason. And he's like, I don't care about the world. Fuck the world. All I care about is Wanda. And Terry's like, hey, I'm here. He's like, fuck you, Terry. You fucked my wife. He goes, fair point. But then he sees little Sarah, where the hell her name is. And she's like, no, Spawn, Baloney Man. And he's like, oh, Sarah. Oh. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up and he's like, hey, I can teleport. Listen, don't be what they made you to be, okay? You can make your own choices, Al. You can make your own choices, Al Simmons. And he goes, you're right. And then we get a completely fucking random power where he has X-ray vision. Superman, he's Superman now. He has X-ray vision, and he looks inside of Martin Sheen, and he sees the heart monitor, and he sucks it out. He sucks it out of Martin Sheen, chat. He sucks it out, and he crushes it, and it's fine. So if he kills him now, then the thing won't go off. But he chooses not to kill him because he says, "No, I'm not an assassin. I'm not a murderer. I mean, you are, but whatever." But he's not these things now. He's like, "I'm a hero. I do this for justice. Shut up, Martin Sheen. You're going to jail." It's like, yeah. But then we cut to everyone's like, "Oh, yay!" And they untie Terry. He holds a gun to Martin Sheen, and they untie little Sarah, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's attending to her and shit. And Spawn, he goes over to Wanda, and who's dead because she got stabbed in the boob, as you know. He's like, "Wanda, I'm sorry I couldn't save you." And she's like, "You fucked up." And he's like, "Whoa, Wanda, she's alive, chat," but it's not Wanda because she like rips off the calcified poop thing, and she's like, "You just couldn't do this one thing, could you? You just couldn't follow orders." And it's actually the Violator. It's like, "I thought that this appearance would get you off. This wonderful body, these great curves, this big old hairy..." Oh, he's like, "Whoa." No, he goes, "This big ass." And he's like, "Oh, little extra hair down there now." All natural. And he's like, "Oh, it's the Violator." And at this point, he's like, "Yeah, you're not going to do the job, then I'll just do it for you." And he attacks Spawn, but then Obi-Wan Kenobi... no, that's the thing. Violator, he runs back into hell. He's like, "I'm going to go tell the big man what you did." No. He goes into the fireplace, which is the portal to hell now. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's like, "We got to go down the hell to fight them for some reason." And they're like, "Okay." And so Spawn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they go into the portal of hell, giant pulsating butthole of CGI fire. And then we get a really awful action scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi gets his ass kicked. He's like, "I'm incompetent." He does have a cool, sword hand, but that gets chopped off, and it's like, all right, whatever. So Spawn then just battles the Violator in hell, and he kicks his ass, and it's all CGI. It's really bad. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Eventually, he beats him, and he fully masters his powers, and Satan's like, "I'm never gonna let you leave, Spawn. You're never gonna leave here." And Spawn just goes, "I'm just gonna leave." And he grabs Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he just flies out. He just fucking flies out and back into the butt portal. And Satan's like, "No!" He's very mad. And then eventually they pop out of the fireplace where the whole family is, with Martin Sheen going, "What the fuck is happening? I'm so confused." Wait a minute, did they want me to die? Because that's the thing, the Violators revealed, it's like, "We want you to kill Martin Sheen so he can start the apocalypse early." And Martin Sheen's like, "You can't trust some people." It's like, no, you can't trust a fucking demon from hell. Don't do it, Martin Sheen. Jesus Christ. I know you're evil, but I know you're stupid too. But it's like, "Hey, we won. We're victorious. We did it." And, fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi is just like, "You did good, kid. You did good." He's like, "Hey, listen, Obi-Wan, if I didn't, join you and fight for goodness and justice and stuff, what would you have done to me?" And he's like, "I would have killed you." And Spawn's like, "Wait, really?" But chat, not all is quiet on the home front, because the Violator has returned, and he's inside the wall. And he pops out of the wall with CGI, and he grabs Spawn, and he gets Obi-Wan, he throws him, and he's about to eat Spawn. But then fucking Obi-Wan's like, "Use your nipples! Use your nipples!" And then Spawn, he creates the nipple spikes. They go, pshh. They shoot out of his nipples and the rest of his body, and they puncture the Violator's head. And the Violator's like, "Oh!" And then he uses his nipple chains to then wrap around the head of the Violator, chat, until he cuts his head off. Because I guess if you cut a demon's head off, you kill them, but not really, because he's still alive. So his head falls off, and it goes back to being regular, creepy, fat John Leguizamo. It goes like, "Oh, you'll pay for this, Spawn. You'll pay for this. I'll be back. We'll start the apocalypse. I swear." And he goes, "We'll tell the big man I said hello." It's like, that's not a great ending line. He's like, "Oh," and he gets sucked back in the fireplace to hell. Spawn then talks to his wife and his daughter, and he says, "Listen, I am back. I'm baloney. I don't have a dick. I see you're happy with Terry. I knew you and him were having an affair. I know you're obviously happier with him. I was a bad husband, and I was a bad father. I wish I could have made it different, but I can't. So I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to fighting crime. Okay? And they're like, okay. And so then we cut. Oh, and Zach shows up. So Zach shows up at the end, too. I don't know how he got the address to Wanda's house, and Spaz the dog is okay. He is alive, by the way, Chad. He's like, ruff, ruff, ruff. And it's Ethan to look good like Spaz. I love puppy. And it's like, oh, it's great. And he's like, yes, we're all happy now. And then we cut. And Zach is with Obi-Wan Kenobi back in Rat City. Like, did you still gotta live there? You still gotta be homeless, and it's raining again. And all the hobos look up as they see Spawn sitting on top of the cathedral with this giant fucking CGI cape and lightning and thunder and rain. And it's like, and Spawn for the rest of his days protected the people and the hobos and the abusive dads and the orphans and the dogs of Rat City for now. And I guess there was supposed to be a sequel, but never was a sequel, chat. But that was Spawn. That was Spawn, the 1997 cinematic adaptation of Todd McFarlane's Venom in a Red Cape. This movie fucking sucks. There's nothing, I don't know. I mean, it's good for a laugh. It did make me laugh a lot. That's the thing about it. There's a lot of unintentionally funny scenes. I mean, just Martin Sheen is just so ridiculous. I mean, he's probably my favorite movie because I'm like, okay, I know. He's like, he just wants to be a villain in a comic book movie, and he did it. I mean, he's so over the top. But everything else about this is bad. The action scenes are bad. And CGI is notoriously, it's infamously bad. Yeah, it's a waste of fucking time. So I would probably give this, but because it made me laugh a few times, and the makeup on Johnny Leguizamo is quite good, I'll give it like a low sumo bullshit. Yeah, it's a low sumo bullshit for me. Good review, Chris. Thank you, Hamilton Burger. Dr. Cloverwood, I'll get you, Gadget. I mean, Spawn. As I saw this was opening day in 1997. You're good. You've covered your bases. don't need to see it again. Unless you want to watch it along with my audio and video commentary chat, which is on my Patreon. So not only have I done a review for Spawn, I've also done a full-length audio and video commentary for the movie as well. You can check that out, chat. That's fair, Chris. Enjoyable movie? Sure. No, I think it's enjoyable. I give it a little simple bullshit. Give it this. It's shorter than Predator. Yes, it is. It's very short. It's like an hour 25. Very short movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's barely, I don't think it's even 90 minutes. Yes, weak. Now you move. No, I got you. I feel like that's the only way to do it. It's like, oh, thank you, Berserker. In Todd McFarlane's world, everyone's bad and evil lives in the rainy, dark city, and all the good people live in bright, sunny suburbia. Yep, that's how it works. Blackstone. Well, this was how Michael J. White was discovered. I enjoy watching the guy kick it. No, I do. He deserved better. Michael J. White absolutely deserved better, Chad. There's no question. That kid shows up to Terry Wanda's house, and you're supposed to think, hey, they might take the kid in, but nah. They don't give a fuck about it. Yeah, fuck that kid. Yeah, no, go back to your abusive dad who was smacking you around in the movie and was feeding you moldy sandwiches. No, be gone, Oliver Twist. CGI has come a long fucking way. Makes you appreciate it, chat. Holy shit. I still don't know how that kid found the house. That is not explained to me, and it bothers me to this day. How'd he know where Wanda and Terry lived? I don't know. He got to show on the stick. Yeah, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Yeah, he wasn't getting anything good. Black Diamond is the true sequel to this. Oh, that's right. He did Black Dynamite. That's right. Yeah, better movie. A better movie, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Michael J. White would later battle another clown in The Dark Knight. Enough of the clown. When Heath Ledger, slash his fucking face open? He's battling clowns. His track record against clowns is not very good, chap. But there you go. That was my review for Spawn. I had to bounce earlier. Did anyone mention the homeless kid was also the one who got run over at Pet Sematary? That's the same fucking kid? No, I didn't know that. That's cool. Good for him. Good for him. He's getting work. Let me see this. I'll check out this kid's filmography. Zach from Spawn. Michael Hughes. He's in a lot of stuff. Well, he played Gage Creed in Pet Sematary. He was in Kindergarten Cop. Apollo 13, Spawn. Mercury Rising. Wes Craven. Oh, he's played that little kid in New Nightmare. Oh, wow. That kid got fucking work. And he had a recurring role of Aaron in Full House from 1990 to 95. He's still working to this day. Chad. Good for him. Hey, he's got a ton of shit. got a couple new movies coming out. Yeah. I'll go for him, chat. Hey, he's a working actor. He's still doing his thing. Happy for him. Oh, and thank you, by the way, to Leon Kennedy, 89. Appreciate the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. Welcome to stream. We appreciate Leon Kennedy's here. Mr. Scott Kennedy. Did Tom McFarlane have a lawsuit with Neil Gaiman? Probably. I imagine so. I think Tom McFarlane has sued everyone in the comic book industry at least once. If you worked with Tom McFarlane, he might have sued you sometime probably will sue you sometime in the future. That's usually his go-to. That's his MO. Why? Money. Oh, yeah. Anyway, chat. That was my review for Spawn. We're going to be moving on to the video games. We'll be playing some Dead Space 2, but this time worked at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. was a good time, chat. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Ooh, baby. But I'm going to refreshen my beverage. In the meantime, chat, please entertain yourselves. Actually, I'm going to switch out a couple wires here. So why don't you bear witness to something as terrifying. No, I would say even more terrifying than Spawn, the Dirty Sonic Boy.